All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish the video notes from last night's homework, and then you're going to work on the first part of the assignment, and then you're going to have a little bit more in the way of class notes, and then you're going to finish the practice assignment. So we had just done cylinders in the video notes, and I had said that they were kind of similar to prisms because the formula was the same. It was just the area of the base multiplied by the height. A cone, the formula for the volume of a cone is going to be similar to a pyramid. And that's because just like the pyramid, you have this shape where it's kind of like coming in, it's kind of tapering in. And so just like with the area, or sorry, with the volume of a pyramid, you would do 1/3 multiplied by the area of the base, and then multiplied by the height. The only difference is that with a pyramid, you could have different shapes for the bases. You could have a square or a triangle or a pentagon or whatever. And for a cone, you're always going to have a circle for the base. So it's always going to be 1/3 times the area of a circle times the height. And so we would write, generally speaking, 1/3 base times height. So over here, the classification for the figure would be a cone. And then to find the volume, first I would say that the the area of the base is pi r squared. That's the formula we're using is the area of a circle. So for this it would be pi 7 squared. Again, we have a radius of 7, and so that is 49 pi meters squared. And then for our volume, we're going to say 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So if I was to multiply all of those things together, then I would do 1/3 times 49 times 9, so just leaving the pi out so I can write the answer in terms of pi. 147 pi meters cubed. Now, on the worksheet that you are given, it's pretty typical for them to say, hey, write the answer both in terms of pi or in the decimal form. So if you were to do the decimal form, you would do 147, and then you would actually multiply the pi in there. And the pi button is just the second, and then it's that up. They call this the caret button, like up. I don't know, because maybe it looks like the top of a caret. I'm not sure. So second, and then this button, and that's the pi in there. And so then we would say, oh, this is approximately 461.814 meters cubed. So we would have the exact volume and the approximate volume, and they're both good numbers. They're just kind of depending on what your purposes are. So at this point, we basically have two different types of volumes, basically. We have area of the base times the height, which works for 3D shapes, where the shape is something that is strictly up and down. The shape is the same. And then over here we have this other type of shape where it's 1/3 times the area of the base times the height, and that works when the shape is not straight up and down, but when the shape kind of tapers in as it gets to the top. It has the shape where it tapers in. Then we have a sphere. And a sphere is totally different. This volume is one where you truly do have to memorize the formula because it's different from all the others. And so this one, there is no base to it. It's the only one that doesn't have some sort of base that it's like named for. So we're going to say this volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. It's the volume of a sphere, and this is the one that you just have to kind of memorize because we can't relate it to anything else. I can't simplify it to anything else, right? So over here, we're going to find the volume of this, the radius in the picture. You can see that very, very small print is 4 inches, and so we're going to say over here that our volume is 4/3 pi times 4 cubed And so I'm just going to do 4/3 times 4 to the third. And that's 85.33333. Depending on the resource, some different places would do like 85.333 pi. This to me is kind of a cringy answer because it's like approximate with the decimal and then exact with the pi. So I don't like it when resources do this, but some of them do. I've seen them do it. I would prefer to write 256 pi thirds inches cubed. That answer to me feels a lot better because this is completely exact. I'm not rounding a decimal. I'm writing something that's perfectly exact. Or if I wanted to do this, then I could take that decimal or that fraction or the decimal answer and multiply it by pi and then truly get a rounded number and say that that is 268.083 and just stick that pi in there. All of these are technically the same thing. I really don't like it when textbooks do that or when worksheets do that or whatever, but the worksheet that you guys are going to do today is actually going to do this, and it makes me mad, but it's still, we're going to go with it because it happens. So any of those answers are technically okay. I just don't like them. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Those are the different formulas that you're going to need. Either keep this set of notes out so that you can work with them, or have those formulas written down so that you have them. So it would be important for today to have written down that your different base formulas, and maybe you could write this on the back or at the top somewhere, but those base formulas that you might want are going to be like a rectangle, which is length times width, a triangle, which is 1/2 base times height, square, which is side times side, circle, pi r squared. Those are the different types of bases that you have, and that when you classify a figure, the different classifications, they are being named for their bases. So your prisms and your pyramids, you wouldn't just call it a prism or just call it a pyramid. It's going to be a rectangular prism. It is going to be a triangular pyramid. It is going to be a square prism. The circle one just means it's a cone or a cylinder, but that sort of thing is going to be pretty important for this. And these formulas, you're going to want to memorize them as quickly as you can because we are going to be using these formulas throughout the rest of this unit. We do not have a quiz this unit, so you're going to memorize these and we're going to be using them the rest of the day. So they're going to be pretty important for you to have at your disposal. So now that we are done with this, you're going to take your practice assignment, and I believe it is 1 through 13, I'm pretty sure, or 1 through 12. I think 1 through 12 is what you're going to work on next. Those are the ones where all you're doing is just finding the volume. You're going to work on 1 through 12, and then before you continue, you're going to have another set of notes with this other just 2 examples before you do the last part of the practice assignment for today. So 1 through 12 is what you're working on now.